Are you interested in innovative education and diversity in school models? Do you see a need for something different to bring about a reformation in our current education system? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join us for this special summer series where we will introduce you to the HERO Project. HERO stands for Heartland Education Reformation Organization and is focused on providing support for unique faith-based schools. These creative Christian learning environments, such as homeschool co-ops, microschools, and hybrid schools, are popping up all across Kansas and throughout the Heartland. The HERO Project offers continued support for this movement. I am your host, Delina Wallace, founder of the WISE Network and president of AIM Educational Collaborative. Welcome to our summer series of WISE and Otherwise, where we will be highlighting the unique role of the church in supporting a reformation in education through the HERO Project. Okay, today I have with me Olivia Tickles, and she is with the Plug Academy. And Olivia's here in the Wichita area. We met probably about a year ago. Maybe it's been 2 years. We'll have to talk about when we first met, but she is part of the WISE Network, and she also has a faith-based school. So I'm here to talk with Olivia. She has a really unique situation with a partnership with a church as well. So we're going to highlight that. Olivia, welcome to the show today, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what made you start a school. And your school is called the Plug Academy, correct?
Yes. So we started back in 2019. We began as a nonprofit organization focusing on mentoring students that had either behavioral or else emotional disturbance in the school district and also in their community. After that, COVID hit us really hard to where some of my mentees said, "Hey, Miss T, we just really do need a place where we can study still." And that is where the development of our relationship with Radiant Church with Pastor Nathan blossomed to where he opened up his doors to us and allow us to come in and use his facility absolutely for no cost at all. Just to make
Wow.
sure that the kids were able to, still continue on with their education and have a safe environment to do so. And after that, we just kind of opened it up to the public to where it was a hit. Um, and that's when I kind of started seeing that, mentoring and education should most definitely go hand in hand because when you're in the school district, it's so many kids in that type of atmosphere to where sometimes they are not able to get that one-on-one direction from a mentor. So we
Mm.
felt like if we had a program that would give those students that outlet of someone that they can come and talk to into their education area, then they will be more successful.
That's so great. So how many students did you start off with?
Oh goodness! So I was a
Mhm.
para in the school district, and it started off with one kid, which he was
Mhm.
not coming to school. He came at least once every 3 months, and I just kept telling him, "Hey, I want to see you a little bit more." So I got him to come to school every day. And by then, he had talked to some of his other friends. So it went to 3 to 5, and we ended up to around 20 kids before I actually transitioned into Radiant Church. And at that
Mhm.
time, when we opened up to the public, we were averaging around 30 or so kids.
Wow, that is so great. So what did it look like when you approached the pastor to ask him if you could meet there? What was that? Was it difficult, or I mean, you've said that he was very open to the idea. Did he have to convince his congregation or other staff members, or do you know much about the backside of things?
He was very open. One of my good friends from middle school, she's the one that connected me with him. And, she kept telling me he's very down to earth, very open, very honest with you. Whatever he's thinking, he will most definitely tell you. And that was my experience. I went in, and anyone that knows me, I kind of get nervous having conversations with people. But as soon as I walked in there, he was just like a friend that you would have known for years. He was very kind, very nice, he was very intentful during our conversation, just listening to some of the needs that we were looking at, and very helpful. He most definitely told us, hey, you can have this area. It can be you guys, you can paint it. So we were in there with the students
Wow.
painting the area for us. He even moved, it's like a kitchenetta where it was like a very long industrial kitchen counter to where we would be able to have food. He was just very helpful. It was a different pace that I was kind of used to. Someone being so, um, I guess, willing to pitch in where there are areas of need. He did say that he needed to talk to his congregation and some of his board members about it, but it didn't take too long for him to come back with a yes.
That is so great. It sounds like he has the vision and the understanding that a school, did he view it as a ministry? Do you feel like he looked at that as seeing that you were doing a ministry in the community for these kids?
He do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And is this, how is the partnership? Is there any sort of connection? Does he sit on the board of the Plug Academy, or how involved is the church and the school with the church?
We are still in conversation with the board member partnership, which I would really love him to be on our
Hmm.
board. But other than that, we have always kept connection since COVID. Whenever
Hmm.
he's having events, I come out and we volunteer at his events. We come out and support his church just to make sure that we're always keeping a face of the Plug Academy connected with him as well. We always check up on each other, and he's really good at that. He actually instilled in me that, you should never allow a conversation not to be had for too long of a duration, which
Hmm.
I really do honor that. I was like, well, how you know you're not bugging that person? He's like, how do you know if you don't call them? So yes, he's always checking in with us and making sure that we stay connected. He did move
Hmm.
out of Town West because that's where his church was located,
Okay.
and he moved into a building. And he still opened up his doors once again for us to be able to
Wow.
integrate the school with his church.
And is he doing that free of cost to you? Did you say there's no cost, or he's just giving you a great deal on rent?
A great deal. This time
That's
I told him, I was
amazing.
like, hey, I'll feel very bad if we come in and we don't try to help and support your community.
Hmm.
So we worked out a great deal that it was something that's comfortable to us as the academy and also the church where they will be able to flourish as well.
That's so great. Yes. So it's mutually beneficial, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So tell me a little bit. Let's go back to your origin story. Like, why did you start with mentoring kids and getting in academics and teaching and that sort of thing? Did you feel a call towards that? Or was there a life experience that led to that? Just tell me a little bit more about your origin story.
Oh, multiple life experiences. Um, to be honest, and I tell people a lot, I was not a kid that wanted to go to school. I didn't enjoy school. I didn't feel like it was a place for me. It was something that, I just had to check it off my list. Um,
Hmm.
the transition started when a traumatic event happened in my life around 16 years old. And it was two particular teachers that took the time to really figure out what was wrong with me. I remember one, I don't think he was a teacher. I believe he was a school counselor. But I was walking in the hallways basically, and he seen me and I looked horrible. I had on pajamas. I didn't do my hair. My
Mhm.
hair was all over the place. And he just snatched me out of the crowd of hundreds of students and said, I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know you, but you should never allow yourself to come out and look like this. And
Oh,
that
wow.
was like the jump start of me
Mm.
really taking initiative of who I am and pride in how I present myself to the world. So it really it made an impactful experience on me because I
Mhm.
said I wanted to be that person that you see
Mm.
there's an issue with a student, and instead of allowing them to continue on with their day or else allowing them to be in such a self-destructive manner, is like
Mhm.
snatch them out, like let them know, hey, I
Mm.
love you. I may not know you, but I love you enough to see that there's something wrong, and to see that you need guidance. And it was just throughout my life, like even when I was younger, I started going to college. Once again, didn't think I was going to go to college, but I made it. You know, I went to college, went for an undergrad in psychology with a minor in sociology. And during that time, I was still in the school helping other students. And I just seen the same thing. Like I saw myself in them. Like I could see that they were going through things, but the teachers are so busy, is so
Mhm.
overwhelming for the teachers to actually, get those one-on-ones with those students. And it was just a reminder of, you need to be here. You need to be here. You need to be in the scene, on the ground, boots on the ground, to really assist these students with whatever mental illness that they're going through, emotional breakdowns, because we don't see what's going on in their own life. And when I got older, I had my own kids, and I seen with one of my children that she really struggled in school. She struggled a lot, and it's not so much she didn't comprehend the academic parts, but she's just overwhelmed with a lot of people. She's socially awkward. She doesn't like being around people. She tends to try to isolate herself, which reflected in her schoolwork. If other people were, being loud and being rambunctious, that really triggered her to where she is shut down.
Mm.
She doesn't want to do the homework. So, after so long, I just said, I don't want my own daughter to suffer the lack of compassion that I can give her during those times of, she may be triggered, and understand the triggers that she has and see if we can accommodate them as best as possible.
It sounds like you're able to provide a very individualized, like very intentional, personal, relationship based education with your students. Do you feel like that is that a goal that you have with your school?
Yes. I understand mental health a little bit more. Like I said, that's my career field. Just got a master's in counseling with a concentration in mental health. So
Amazing.
I'm so
Congratulations.
excited.
That's
So thank
huge.
you.
Yep.
But yeah, I understand that students that have ADHD or even ADD, um, they may have a little bit of a lack in certain areas. I can probably give a student that doesn't have any anxiety or any mental health issues 20 questions to get done. But if I try to give those same 20 questions to a kid that has ADHD, ADD, or anything like that, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because their mind does not expand to that extent of, let me focus, let me be able to get this done. So we try to tailor our work accordingly. If a student is telling us, hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed, they're able to take extra breaks. They're able to, talk to their teacher and let them know, advocate for themselves. We are a big
Mhm.
advocate. You have to know what's going on with your own grades, your own understanding, the own comprehension. You have to really be engaged, because even if you are having these issues, once you get to college, what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Right.
we tailor them, but we also make sure that they're still held accountable. We also make sure that they
Mm-hmm.
have those tools and understanding of, life is still going to go on. People
Yeah.
in the world do not care if you have ADHD. They don't care if
Hmm.
you have ADD, anxiety, depression. How are we going to be able to function through this and still perform at a certain level?
Yeah. Would you say the majority of your students, do they have some sort of ADD, ADHD, mental health issues?
Yes.
And so, how many students are you able to accommodate with that? Because I get asked pretty often if there's a school for kids that struggle, struggling learners, or mentally, socially, they're in a difficult place and they need more specialized, individualized education. How many students do you feel like you can accommodate with that? I'm just curious now that I'm talking with you. I'm like, should I be referring more people your way or not?
Look, you put me on the spot, but that's something that our board been really looking at. Some of our board members, because we're opening up the doors right now to about 40 to 45 students for this upcoming school year.
Great.
Our student to kid ratio will be at least 8 to 10 students to one teacher. And then, of
Okay.
course, I will be the floater that kind of goes around and really check in on the kids emotionally and mental health. So, as of
Okay.
right now, we're looking at if it's between 8 to 10 students in that group. Then if we have 6 kids that has those needs, then we all group them together, and then we know that teacher is going to be delegating out a different type of homework assignments where it's the same homework, but it may be tailored to that group of students. So it'll be
Okay.
6 out of 10 that we're looking at.
Okay. That sounds great. And you do have some openings. Are you open for enrollment?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know. So, how many teachers and staff do you have now?
As of right now, we have four. We
That's
have four
great.
teachers.
Very good.
We have a smaller community right now. We're looking to expand, especially since we're going to be in a bigger building. We have 4 classrooms, really great size. So we are looking to fill up those classrooms very quickly. We have a waiting list right now. So we do have a lot of, interactions with the community and the church. Pretty soon we will be going out
Oh,
and having some
great.
conversations with different church members to see if they would like to join.
That's great. So you do have a wait list, students who are interested, but you also there's plenty or there's space for more students.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, that's exciting. And then how many of your students would you say come from your congregation or from Radiant, from the church where you meet?
Oh, that's once again a good question. We actually have a meeting June the 8th, if I'm not mistaken, but it's going to be in
Okay.
early June to talk to that congregation individually, just to invite them
Wow,
into the
that's so
community.
great.
So
That
I'm
is
looking.
so
Yeah, I'm
exciting.
really excited. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation. The pastor did say a lot of his congregation are homeschooled, and we do
Okay.
have a hybrid program where you can be homeschooled
Mm-hmm.
and you can still come in and get assistance at least 2 to 3 days out the week.
That is great. I love those hybrid models. I homeschool my kids, but having some assistance on a few days a week is just so important. I think it really helps us with sustainability, being able to stick with it for the long haul. So I think that's a wonderful service to offer, just having some flexibility and part-time options. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
want
great.
it to be easy for the parents because I heard some parents it's kind of overwhelming. You're the teacher and you are the
Mm-hmm.
parent. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have to grade and delegate the lessons and figure out the scheduling and the planning, that can become a lot. I even was
Yeah.
a homeschool mom as well, and it's a lot to deal with. So we want to alleviate those duties to where the parent is back into the parent position. If you do not want
Mm-hmm.
to have to do the lesson plans are made for you, the schedule is made, and now the parent is able to be the the assistant. They're able to help their child make sure that they understand how to navigate through, the lesson plans, and make sure that they're understanding the concepts.
That's so great. So it sounds like there are part-time flexible options, the hybrid model. Is there also a full-time? Like, are some students there Monday through Friday, or what does the schedule look like? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Monday through Friday, with Friday being our now I may change the word, but it's Freaky Fun Friday.
That sounds
It's
fun.
basically, yeah, I didn't know if it was a little bit, um it's just kind of touchy. You have a faith-based program, and you have a Friday saying Freaky Fun Friday, but those are Fridays are the days that we kind of just allow the students to catch up on any work that was done over the week. Also
Mm-hmm.
doing finals, and they have any tests. We're going to have groups on those days where we're teaching them how to study for a test, teaching them some
Okay.
of those core, values that they will need moving forward into college. Of this is how you can kind of really grasp those concepts. And then also the kids that are done, they have everything, completed. Then we'll be able to have free days on those days and also take our field trips.
Oh, that's great. Very good. And I don't think, have you mentioned yet the grades? How many, or what's the age level, grade level that you serve?
Well, we're pushing to 10th grade. So K through 10th. This
Wow, that's
last
so
year we did
great.
K through ninth. So we would like
Okay.
to add on to 10th to keep some of our ninth graders.
Wow. Did you ever see yourself starting a school?
No.
It was not
No.
in the plans,
It
huh?
wasn't. It was not in the plans, but I have a heart for children. I honestly
Mm-hmm.
do. That has always been one of my missions, is just to make sure that the kids are getting as much as they can from us adults that have lived life, longer than them.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things were, I seen my parents. So I come from a family of seven children. I am the sixth out of seven, and my parents put my younger brother in private school. But some of the conversations coming around the private school was they wanted to put him in a school that focused on faith based and not a religion. If you kind
Mm-hmm.
of look around and even do research, a lot of Christian based schools are in Catholic churches, Lutheran.
Mm-hmm.
They have a
Yes.
couple that are nonprofit, non denomination
Mm-hmm.
as well. But, when I started looking at the transition from mentoring and accommodating that academic aspect as well,
Mm-hmm.
I said I wanted to build a church. Well, I want to build a school that will be faith based, honestly, faith based.
Mm-hmm.
And that will look like with us just giving them the lessons of the Bible. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be denomination driven whatsoever. We're going to look at some of the stories in the Bible and look at how does this story apply to your life in today's society. Because everybody
Yeah.
can learn
Fantastic.
something from the Bible. It's not a religion. It's a place for principles and lessons. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
solely believe. So I feel like God has called me to really teach the principles and the lessons of the Bible and not a denomination.
That's great. What does that look like? How do you weave that into your day? Do you have a specific time of Bible study, or is it kind of just incorporated throughout each subject and conversations?
Yeah, it's incorporated throughout the lesson. So, for instance, at the end of the year, all of our students, depending on their grade level, we break it up. We have different lesson plans and also projects. So, for instance, with our middle schoolers, we have a project called Law versus Biblical. And that's basically looking at what biblical facts can you pull that are commandments or anything like that that's in the Bible that is also founded in the law of the land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, for instance, thou shalt not kill. Well, what translate into the law of the land? If you kill someone, what happens? You're punished. You go to jail. So it's correlating those two lessons and principles to make sure that they understand these are the same, principles in the Bible that they just translated in the law of the land. So, a lot of our kids, they enjoy that. We also do some concerning wealth and poor. We do relationships as well, where it's all going back to biblical. And they just do different little projects, make posters, and they love it. They absolutely love it. It's fun, and it's just a way for them to really get into the Word and find out
Mm-hmm.
what God is saying for themselves, and not just take it from someone else.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, as you have been a part of the WISE network and have met other school founders and people who are doing similar things, has that been helpful for you? Do you feel supported by others? What's your general kind of outlook on what's happening with other school founders and this movement as everyone is kind of starting up their own schools? Um, so, have you been able to connect with other education entrepreneurs and school founders like yourself?
Yes, I honestly enjoy the WISE group. I was invited by Elizabeth, and
Okay.
goodness gracious, I went for the first time. I think it was almost 2 years ago because I've been here for a full year, and I was
Okay.
here at the kind of beginning, no, middle of last year. But I enjoy it. Everybody is so open. The community is very honest. They are, if I ever have a question, I can ask anyone. Candace, Sarah, oh my goodness, you guys, love them. I
Yeah.
absolutely love them. They are so informative. They tell me anything. If I have a question, I know I can call them, I can email them. And they're right there. Is I mean, I just never felt so much love. I mean, I don't know how else to put
That's
it,
good.
but it is, I love the community. I honestly do.
Good.
And then we
Yeah.
share not only the good things about our school, but also some of the things that's not working. So then I can
Mm-hmm.
see as a newcomer that, hey, there's going to be trial and error, and it's okay as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep transitioning from the things that's not working and then implement something new to see if that's going to adjust the scales a little bit more. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm so glad that you feel supported. And what about within the church, the greater body of Christ? So I know you have a wonderful relationship with Radiant Church and the pastor there. Your home congregation, your own pastor, and the greater body of Christ, do you feel supported? Um, and if not, or are there ways that you could feel more supported by them?
Well, I will say new adventures can be scary for people. They may not know what it will look like to have a church and a relationship with an academy. My pastor, Pastor Sandy Bland, he is very open to it. However, his church cannot accommodate an
Mm-hmm.
academy as of right now. But just coming from the Kojic community, Church of God in Christ, that's where I was born and raised. Um, there's no academic program within any of the churches, from what I have seen. We are really focusing on having those communications with the pastors, trying to press forth and get them connected to us to understand this can be a mutual beneficial program. If you're sending your congregation to our academy, then they will get a special discount because they are connected to a church, you
Mm.
know? So we're still in conversations with them, trying to get them on board. I haven't really met a pastor outside of Pastor Nathan, Pastor Sandy Bland, Pastor Herman Hicks. Those are some of the three that has really kind of put in with the Plug Academy, really either donated or else asked if we needed anything,
That's so
really trying
great.
to help
Oh.
us get it started. But as in the general, like overall, personally, I have not, and it's hurtful for me to say this. That's why I'm trying to be very cautious
Mm-hmm.
of my wording, because I don't want to feel like I'm disrespecting the body of Kojic or non-denominational. Um, I'm just speaking from a personal view of what I have endured,
Mm-hmm.
what I have
Mm-hmm.
kind of seen from my own eyes, and it seems like there's a reluctant um, a resistance of wanting to
Mm-hmm.
connect. But I also
Mm-hmm.
feel like if you don't know something, it can be hard to buy into that because you don't
Sure.
know how, it's going to be really produced. I feel like
Sure.
also the church, you know, I think that pastors feel like they have been
Hmm.
used from the congregation, if that makes
Hmm.
sense, to where whenever someone comes and say, "Hey, let's do this," I think that they're thinking about past experiences of the church is always supposed to give things for free
Hmm.
or, for low and no cost, to where it can damage the church. Um,
Yeah.
However, it's like that's not this situation. This situation, it'll be a mutual beneficial relationship where we are all benefiting.
Hmm.
Because I'm just a realist, it take money to run a
Right.
church. It as well
Mm-hmm.
as it takes money to run an academy, a school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like if we can just get over those barriers of understanding that it's not a financial depletion on their part, but it can be beneficial. Like we can all
Mm-hmm.
benefit from this financially, just to make sure that they're not sinking. So yes, I will really like to see more involvement from the churches, especially the ones that do not have academies at all
Yeah.
in their denomination overall. So, yeah, we're still in those conversations.
That's great. Yeah, you said it very well. I've noticed that as well from other experiences and founders, and even my own experience with having our homeschool co op and our church. They've been so generous to allow us to use their space. But I know that it's not like everybody's thing. And when you have a congregation with many members and trying to share a building can get difficult sometimes. And there's just that's the reality of it for some, and I've found that there is that resistance and reluctance. Do we want to open our doors, to 30 students Monday through Friday? What's that going to look like? And then I think we, as church members, as the congregants, we're trying to be, like you said, be respectful. We don't want to push our way in, and demand or anything. So oftentimes we don't even go to our pastors or our churches and ask for that support. Um, and it's just interesting to me. Someone I was talking with yesterday said that they feel very hesitant about asking for support from their church or from their pastor, and that it's helpful. So, with the Hero Project, which is what we're working on here, and that's the Heartland Education Reformation Organization, we are kind of elevating the work and raising awareness of what these creative Christian learning environments look like and how the church can support them and how they can get involved. So we're kind of going to the church on your behalf, and on behalf of these school founders so that they don't have to. They don't have to have that awkward conversation or feel like they're begging for something. And I think it's just a matter of having a mindset shift that the church views these schools and academies as a ministry and even as a mission field. And as the church begins to understand a little bit more, I believe they'll get more involved. And I know of some people who are like, I'm very supportive of Christian education. I just don't know how to help. What do I do? So our goal is to get churches. We have like an invitation for them to be involved in three ways. It could be to host one of the creative Christian learning environments or an academy in their church. The second option is to sponsor an existing academy that's nearby in their neighborhood or their community. And the third thing would be to help and provide scholarships for students to attend a faith-based school. So there are ways that the church can get involved. And I think working through some of the, like, what are the hangups or the barriers that churches have? How can we give them options and building the support? So I'm glad that you feel supported. I'm glad to hear you have such a great partnership with it's Pastor Nathan there at Radiant Church. Right.
Yes.
That's so wonderful. Well, and it's always so good to hear that you are also offering services like very specialized and individualized with students that might need a different type of learning environment and some extra help and support in that. So I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I'm glad that you have staff to support you and you've built a team. That's so important. So if our listeners would like to learn more about the plug and possibly enroll their students, how can they get in touch with you or learn more?
Yes, we are on Facebook under the Plug Foundation / the Plug Academy. And we also have a website that you can go to. It's called theplugacademy.org. I think it's .org.
Try both. Try both, right? If it's not
Try
.org, then do the .com.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I was just like, oh, what is it? Like, but
I've
yes,
done
you
the
can go.
same thing.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. But yes, you can come and visit us on either platform. And also you can fill out an application. The link is also in the bio on both platforms to get your students started.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Olivia. And thank you to our listeners. And this has been another episode of Wise and Otherwise. Tune in next week for more.